You guys, welcome back to the channel. We hope you all are feeling absolutely fantastic today. Man, we have a...
Freeze the fall! Sorry, I just had to get it out just one time. I just had to get it out one time.
You guys, we have Freeze the Fall with us. Please, everybody, welcome Quinn, Aria, and Jonah. You know, we're so excited to be here kind of at the beginning of y'all's journey, you know, like this is so awesome. It's so rare that we get to latch on to an amazing band early on into their careers. Yeah. So I'm really stoked. We really feel privileged to be a part of the cold front.
The cold fronts. Congratulations on dropping Aurora.
Dropping today. Yeah, awesome. We got to hear it and it's badass. And later on in the interview, we've got some questions about that.
Yep.
All right. You know, we're so stoked for you guys, man. It's awesome. We wanted to jump into your creation of your art. You know, this is something Ninja, I call her Ninja if you guys don't know, Jillian. She's the tiny ninja. So she is so fascinated with how people write songs. Every time we start talking about it, she's like, did the lyrics come first or does the music come first and then you write lyrics to it? Like, and we're always, my drummer Matt and I were always trying to explain to her there's all kinds of different things. So was just wondering, how do you guys create your songs? Like, different people bring different things?
Out of thin air. I mean, just to be able to create a song out of thin air just fascinates me.
Out of thin air, yeah. It's usually Quinn or Aria that will come with a riff. That's usually how most of our songs start. They'll come
or like a melody.
Yeah. Usually the lyrics will come after the instruments. We usually do instruments first, but rare occasions where Quinn will come in with like a melody and vocals with it and maybe a guitar part, like that happens too, for sure. So it definitely depends, but the majority of the time it'll be the instruments first.
Our process of like creating the songs is definitely changed from like our very first song, Insomnia, to where we are now writing our full-length album. Usually like we always write every single thing together except for melodies. Melodies, Aria and I write, just because of like the nature of our instruments. Jonah works more with rhythm than with melody, but in our most recent songs that we've been writing that like haven't come out yet, he's been also helping us with the melody, and he has like a very different approach because he's thinking more like, okay, like more of like a systematic approach. It's like, okay, well this word needs to have like 2 syllables, and then over here we need to have a word with like 1 syllable. And it's just so interesting because Aria and I usually kind of just like hum over it and try to be like, okay, well, how can this work here? But he is like, okay, what if we do it like this? So it's just so cool how we have different approaches.
That's really cool.
Because I don't really know notes that much. So when I'm trying to explain to them a melody idea that I have, I just go high or low, basically. I'm just like, la, 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 la.
Yeah.
Basically. So I don't really know what notes sound good with each other. So I more just get a rhythm down for a melody that I think would sound cool. So that's kind of my process with it.
Yeah. And like, now that you're saying that, I'm just thinking like over the course of the time we've been a band, we've definitely, we've all had to like learn how to like communicate with each other in that regard, because like not just with music, but with any type of art, when you're creating art with people, it can be so difficult to explain what you're trying to get at, like what you want the end goal to be, because it's such like an abstract type of thing until you actually make it. So we've definitely all learned how to communicate with each other in that regard, especially with instruments, like what we're saying, like I work more with melody and Jonah works more with rhythm, so that type of thing. So
you know, I love hearing that, because that really brings me back to when I was playing, because that was my role pretty much in the band, was like the facilitator. I could communicate the drums and the bass and the guitar to everybody in a way they could digest it and understand what we're trying to say, you know? So I love that that's how Jonah's starting to do it, even if you don't know the notes. And another thing I love is when you talk about the rhythm of it, like 1 syllable versus 2 syllables, it makes me think of rap. A lot of rappers do that, and it's based on syllables fitting lines into a certain 4-bar measure. You know, a word might loop over and you have to put that syllable on the next line, you know? So I love that you do that just naturally, you know?
I think that this also extends to like how our friendship works, and also just like how we create music in general, not just melodies, because just the way our personalities are, Aria and I are not very direct at all. We have a very hard time being direct with people. And a lot of what we come up with is a lot more abstract. It's very like bigger picture, like bigger thinking type of thing. And Jonah, he's always like, okay, well, we need to make it be this. Like it needs to be like this thing over here and this thing over here. So a lot more systematically. And that kind of just like, that's how we like interact with each other as well, just like in our friendship.
That's perfect. It's like a symbiotic relationship. You guys, you know, it's like a give and take of what you guys aren't doing, the other person is doing. So that's perfect.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
I know.
Is that good insight for you when it comes to
was.
songwriting?
It was, and it actually makes me think of the next question along the same lines. As part of one of the interviews, we heard you guys talking about how sometimes when you're thinking about songs, you'll write the title first. And Jeremy like totally short-circuited because he
Blew
was
my
like,
mind.
that's opposite of what I know. And I know you wanted to talk a little bit more about that part of it, about creating the title first.
I did.
Yeah.
At first, when I heard that, I was like, it sounds extremely limiting to me. You know, as a creative, it sounds like you're boxing yourself into something. But then the more I thought about it, you guys are doing like concept records. And if you have the concept of a character running through the woods and the title is Running Through the Woods and it's dark, that tells you exactly the kind of vibe you need to write. So the more I thought about it, the more I was like, that's kind of genius, I think, you know?
I think it can depend on the song. I remember Hypothermia was one like that where the name came before most of the rest of the song. Kind of the visuals of the song came first. The name came first. We made Pinterest boards based on what we wanted the song to look like.
Mhm.
Oh, cool.
Great idea.
Yeah. But we didn't have, at that time, there was no vocals. There was barely anything. We actually came up with that during, like, an idea for a song called Hypothermia during Thrones while we were recording it. So it was very interesting. I think that was one of the first times we've done that where, like, the title came before the rest of the song.
Yeah.
And we've done that a few times now. But, yeah, it's definitely a different process than if it's the other way around. But it's very interesting.
As long as you remember that at the end of the day, it is your song. So you can literally go back and change anything you want. So you could like come up with the title first and then start writing and being like, this title has nothing to do with this, you know? So I think as long as you like go in with that mindset of like, this is our song and we literally like can make it anything we want, then it can be helpful.
See,
and
that's a
the
great
title
point.
can be a guide.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I didn't even think like that. Like you have no control over changing any, like it's your song. I mean, when you say it like that, it's kind of like, duh.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be locked in.
Throughout the course of our writing, I feel like we've kind of gone through every single like different way you could like come up with a song. Okay. I remember actually Hypothermia. Yes, we came up with this title early on, but that wasn't even the first thing. I remember the first thing we came up with was a color palette. That was what started, was a color palette. And we were writing based on this color palette that we liked because we wanted like a really pretty like icy blue and like white, like a really light color. And we loved the contrast of that with red. And we were thinking of like blood on snow and what that looks like. And we're like, okay, well, what does that sound like? And so then from there we came up with the title and we just worked from there. But then we've also come up with like the title first. We've come up with like a melody first. We've come up with like literally a line, just like some lyrics first. Every song calls for something a little bit different. And I think it's important to just go with whatever the vibe is, you know, whatever you're feeling you need to do in that moment. You need to just start like that instead of boxing yourself in and being like, okay, we have to write like this, if that makes any sense.
And I think, to be honest, it's very few and far between that we start with the title of a song. But when we do, it's actually very helpful because we spend a lot of time on lyrics, and having a title before that can really help shape the lyrics to what we want the song to be about. And it really helps us with our inspiration because we can kind of get stuck on lyrics, be like, where do we go from here, you know?
Concept albums are like being authors. I mean, this is a whole story, so it involves a level of thought.
Yeah, my last thought on this, it can help us get on the same page if we start with the title first, because all three of us write the lyrics equally. So what we do is if we're going to write lyrics for a new song, we sit just sit in a circle on the floor and we're like talking. Maybe we have like some like, maybe we'll be referencing like, okay, like remember in this one movie or like in this one like story or whatever, like just talking about like what we want the song to be about. And then from there, once everyone's kind of on the same page, we all just leave, like we go to different like parts of the room or whatever and just sit and we write for like 20, 30 minutes, however long we need. And then we all come back with like our ideas. And usually the ideas are the same, basically.
That happened a
That's
couple
so
days ago.
cool.
You guys literally had the
We
same line,
literally
pretty
wrote
much.
almost the exact same
crazy.
lyric. It was so weird. But
It was so funny. We were
Y'all are
watching
locked in.
the Johnny Foxtrot video, and you two were like delirious laughing, and Jonah's in the middle. I think Aria
They would
had
say the
like
same words.
You'd say the same words at the same time,
yes.
and I was laughing for so many different reasons, including Jonah just sitting there, just kind of dealing with it.
You know,
Yeah.
I really love how you guys just explain that, because I mean, we all have, as an artist, we all do our art in different ways. Everyone knows that. But hearing you guys, especially being so young, I don't know if you guys are sick of hearing how young you guys are,
Probably.
but you know, for me, it's crazy because you guys sound like true artists. Like, I can sit here and write songs any day. I can put me in a place with a drummer and I'll freestyle for 20 minutes on whatever. But you guys are talking about titles and what does Blood on Snow sound like? And now you're like painting pictures, and then that's insane to me, because that's on a whole level of creativity that I don't have. I don't think like. So I love to hear that. It's really cool. Now, titles and lyrics, that sounds a little bit easier, because if you have a title, then you know what to write about. But music doesn't have words, you know what I mean? So how do you know what Blood on Snow sounds like? Like, it could sound hard and violent, or it can sound soft and sorrowful. So how do you know what that sounds? And I just loved hearing you talk about that. It's so cool. It's so different, you know? I love how you and Aria would come back together and sometimes have the same words, and you have that synergy, right? Which is really cool. But that brings me to the next question. There's almost always going to be some kind of disagreement in the creative process with multiple people.
Yeah.
So how do you guys resolve and navigate when you guys do have disagreements?
When we're thinking, for example, of Blood on Snow with hypothermia, that literally exactly what you're saying is exactly what we were thinking. We're like, okay, so what is snow? And we're like, snow can be very harsh and very violent, but in the context that we were thinking, we were just thinking of like snow lightly falling and just laying on the ground, and we're like, it's very pretty, it's very peaceful, and it's very angelic. But blood is, in the context that we were thinking, blood is very violent, and it's very, very sad and disturbing in the way we were thinking the Blood on Snow. So we're like, okay, so the blood would be like the instruments. The instruments are going to be the blood in this context. And the instruments, we wanted them to be heavy. And of course, it's not as heavy as like Daughters or VHS, but we're like, we need the instruments to have like a lonely heaviness to them. And we needed the vocals to be angelic and to be pretty. And so basically the vocals were going to represent the snow, and the instruments were going to represent the blood and how they could work together. So that's kind of how we wrote
Insane.
It's a great
It's so
analogy, though,
cool.
really, and a great description of how you guys play in general. You know, you've got these gorgeous melodic vocals, but then these heavy,
And it's just telling
and Jonah's drums.
how absolutely creative you guys are. Like, I know Jonah on his tree trunk drums.
We've talked so much about these drums.
I know.
Yeah.
And so now about resolving the disagreements and stuff. So how does that come about?
I'd say we're all pretty indecisive. I'm not gonna lie.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. The key is to like speak up when you don't like fully are in love with something. You know, just be able to be open with that communication, because if you don't say anything, then nobody will know, and you'll just be like, oh, I don't actually like that, but I'm not gonna tell them, you know?
Right.
So,
That's great. And then you keep festering, and then it blows up. So it's good that you're not letting it get there.
So yeah, the key is just to talk it out, you know?
And I think we've all learned over time, like, how to communicate with each other, because obviously writing is a vulnerable thing. We've learned to like find ways to communicate with each other where it's not personal. It's just for what fits the song the best.
The music means everything to us, of course, but our friendship is even like, we rank that even higher than the music, because ultimately we wouldn't be able to write if we didn't have that, which is why we put so much time into like just spending time together doing non-musical things, you know, just like chatting, hanging out in the hot tub, going for walks, snowball fights, movie nights, anything, you know, so that you can then go to band practice and you can be able to have that vulnerability and that ability to know how to talk to each other. And another thing is we've never had a fight before. Never ever. About music or about anything. We've never
Knock
even
on wood somewhere.
Knock on
some kind of, you got plenty back
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. And ultimately, like when we get to that point, I don't think it's going to be very big thing for any of us because again we like know how to talk to each other and all of us really just like want the best for each other. Yeah, so we've never really gotten in any fights. We've been annoyed at each other because we know each other's boundaries and we kind of know, we can kind of like read each other's mind in that regard. We just kind of like, oh, I think this person would probably respond like this if I like did this or said this, so maybe just like back off a bit.
Yeah, the level of maturity. I don't know if it's because you all, the three of you, started so early on playing instruments or what, but I am so impressed and have been by your thoughtfulness, your brain writing these concept albums, your ability to communicate in ways that most adults don't know how to. So I just want to say kudos for being really great communicators and having really good heads on your shoulders.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And you guys have like a perfect storm, I should say, I guess, you know, because you guys are all friends and so close and have that communication. That's one thing. But then you've got the team of the family behind you that are steering you in the right directions. I mean, not everyone gets that. And that's one of the reasons that people really can succeed is having that support network. So like, it's just awesome that you guys are where you are right now. It's really exciting, you know?
Yeah, thank you. We really try to use that like as well as we can because we know that ultimately the position we're in right now is something that many people would do anything to be in, and so we really try to, you know, just like use all of our resources to like their greatest extent.
Absolutely.
Do the best job we can and not just like take advantage of our position.
Yeah, and we are so grateful for everything.
You can tell.
For
you guys are
everybody.
awesome. Although it's not a formal interview question while Jeremy's doing his thing, I just wondered how you guys have been feeling about the influx of all of the popularity that's come about as a result of this.
I think it's really like flattering and mind-blowing because like there's this one person that makes like fan art of us sometimes, and that's like insane that people like draw us just because they like our music or whatever. But I just think that that's really cool. It's just a cool feeling, you know?
It's been a lot to adjust to at the same time because all of us are very like private people and we're all very introverted people. So to all of a sudden just like open your phone and just have like drawings of you and stuff, it's like, whoa. And like, it's so cool.
I know.
But it's also been like a big thing to adjust to and to just like go online and see people just like commenting and talking about you. And you're like, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
This upcoming week, you guys are going to be doing some writing with Jordan. Although you know Jordan and you've worked with Jordan in a different capacity, how does it feel going in to write with him? Is it a little bit scary thinking about opening up that aperture to have somebody else that's not one of you three?
Especially when you guys have been the main ones doing it all yourselves.
Yeah, I think we're all very excited. It's definitely going to be different because, like you said, we've never written with somebody else before. Like we've obviously the songs developed like with pre-pro and studio and stuff, but we never actually just like co-written a song from like scratch with somebody. But if it was to be anybody, Jordan, of course, we know him, we trust him, and he's obviously, he knows what we sound like. He knows what kind of things he knows how we like to sound. So we're all very excited to work with him. And yeah, I think it's gonna be different, but I think it'll also be good practice because again, we'll work with other people in the future and stuff. And so working with somebody that we're already comfortable with will be like, it's like a really good place to start with learning how to co-write.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's done good work with you guys already.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it wasn't he. We just did a reaction on our live stream yesterday, as a matter of fact, to Broken Glass.
Oh yeah.
And everybody commented, "Oh, Jesse was doing front of house," but then Jordan did the mix for that, and it sounded amazing.
Yeah, it did.
So you guys have a great little connection there. I love that.
This was for the live at
Reverie.
Reveille or something.
Yeah, Revelry.
That was great.
So
Revelry.
he mixed the Revelry, and he's mixed all of our our studio stuff as well.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. So now getting to your music and what you guys have been doing most recently, this word is thrown around a lot, lore, right? You guys love your lore, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if someone is just now finding out about Freeze the Fall, what would be the best way for them to get smart on your music and the lore in your videos? Like, where does someone start to figure this stuff out?
Asking for a friend.
A friend.
Yeah, so the lore is a more recent thing. There wasn't really a lot of lore or anything in Thrones. Not that Thrones wasn't thought out or anything. It's just more that in this upcoming EP, that's where we really are like, okay, let's branch out with our lore. And so lore, you should explain. You do a really good job of explaining what
Me?
lore is to us. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. You guys already know that we have stories in our songs, right?
Yep.
But we kind of want to expand on that and have a story kind of behind the songs that's told throughout the EP as we release it. And basically, this lore is told through secrets, things that you can find in our marketing, in our music videos, and also in the physical content like CDs and vinyl that we send out. So if you want to get started on lore, I'd say watch the music videos and pay close attention to that. And then also just like stay tuned on our socials because we put little hints in everything all the time.
Like
Yeah,
the reel
so-
you just dropped a couple days ago. There was a reel from a couple days ago that
With those
seemed like
two
it had
little
a lot of
circle-
hints.
Like the circle picture. We're watching it and we were like,
Ooh, lore.
the hell does this mean?
We're ready to get smart.
Every single song has a character and a flower that goes with that, and every single character represents a certain theme that's present just in life in general. The music videos that we're going to release for this EP, they're going to be storytelling, but don't try to piece together those stories because the literal stories that we're telling in the music video, that's not the story of the concept album.
Mhm.
It's more that every single music video has a theme that's related to what that character is to the greater story, if that makes sense.
It does.
So like the characters and stuff in say the music video for VHS and the characters in Hypothermia, not all of them, like those two stories don't go together. They're standalone stories, and every music video is going to be a standalone story, but it's going to represent what that character means. And so every character, you'll know what each character is for each song, if that makes sense.
It's
Behind
so-
it, you have videos.
So since they're independent stories of each other, and these are all songs on the same EP, same album, correct? And they're independent stories of each other. They don't have anything to do. And you have lore behind them. So now is there going to be a way to access more of the story that's not in just the one music video that you see? That's going to be in the CD booklets, the artwork, and all that stuff. So you can start. That's basically how that works.
Yeah, precisely.
And more of it is going to be revealed as you go through it. People are starting to pick up little details, for sure. I think people just don't know how to look for it yet because they're not used to us being a band who has all these clues that you have to look for.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like for example, in VHS, there's, I don't know if you'd remember, there's like in the first part of it, like in the kill shack where we were all being tortured, there was this like shrine. There's like a shrine and it was like the pillar was stalking us. It had all these pictures and these notes. So for example, there's like a word on that shrine that's very relevant to the story. There's also a note. We said this before, there's a note that's on that shrine. It might not be easy to see in the music video. You might have to go onto our socials and find pictures of the shrine. But that note has so much information about the...
Okay.
I'm even more impressed. I'm like, how do you keep track of all this stuff?
And people, I'm going to say...
It's hard enough to just play the music.
People are going to need to translate things. Yeah. You're going to need to translate things.
Okay, you got some French stuff in there, some Latin.
Oh, sure.
Some Norwegian, some Russian.
You got some Chinese in there.
And also,
this is a great lore decoder ring.
There will be more of the actual story that they all tell together with the lyrics. It's a lot more clear once you see more songs that come out. You'll be able to like understand more of the overarching story rather than the individual stories told throughout the songs. Because there's a lot of like overlapping ideas in the songs. Because it's like different characters telling their perspective of what's going on. Yeah.
Okay. I love that. You know, do you guys listen to Sleep Token at all?
Yes,
So
I don't know much Sleep Token.
Okay, did you see what's been going on with their hints of everything before they just dropped the new song? And like there's coordinates and weird pictures and stuff drops you off in the Griffith Observatory in California, like crazy stuff. So it's basically that same kind of thing.
Exactly it,
You need a group of diehard Cold Front fans that are combing through everything and making like a spreadsheet of what is happening, right? There probably are people that are doing that.
I'm sure there will be.
when you guys are just playing and practicing, noodling, just doing
For
your
fun.
own thing, trying to keep up, what songs by other artists do you guys play to keep your speed up or your tempo or just to increase your ability?
Ooh,
That's a very good question.
ooh, I like that question.
That's a new one. You gotta think for a second.
I know
Yeah,
Aria's
that's-
playing some Bring Me the Horizon,
Bring Me the
right? Like
Horizon
I've
for
seen you
Aria.
sitting there playing some stuff, but I haven't seen anybody else playing anything else. Some Lamb of God? Anything?
Mastodon.
Yeah.
We're saying our things.
I know.
We want to know your things.
Yeah, I got you. I like playing Slipknot songs when I want like a good challenge that will get me warm for like a practice or something. Like when I personally practice, I mean.
Right.
But yeah, I like playing songs like that, songs that get me hyped,
Nice.
you know.
Nice. That's what I mean. Like more when you guys are personally just by yourself, just practicing,
Yeah.
playing along.
Yeah, for me, for guitar, if I'm wanting to challenge myself, definitely Children of Bodom. Their guitar frets are insane. So that definitely, I like to play their songs for sure on guitar. For vocals, you can kind of like, if you're tense, then you can like hear that you're tense type of thing. So I kind of just sing whatever I feel like I need to be singing in that moment. It's not like I have like a rigid schedule where I'm like, okay, on Monday I sing this, on Tuesday I sing this. It's kind of just like, if I sing, then I sing, and that's how it goes.
Right.
Right.
Lately, what I've been doing is I pick pop songs that don't have a lot of bass, and I try to write my own bass lines for them. So, like Melanie,
Fun.
for example, I do a lot of her songs where I'm not actually playing the bass line that's there, but I try to write my own. I've been working a lot on like improv and stuff with my teachers and lessons, so I've been trying to put that into practice.
Oh, I love that. Are we
What a
going to see
great
that on
idea.
some videos where you're kind of like overdubbing your bass on some popular songs?
For sure, yeah, that's a goal.
That's
Oh, that's
great
cool.
content
Looking forward to
ideas.
that for sure.
Since you all are so into concept albums, were there originals that got you inspired? I
Who do you guys like
Yeah.
that have come up with concept albums?
For myself, I remember my first introduction. Well, of course, Queen of the Murder Scene by The Warning was my 1st concept album. But what really like made me interested in concept albums was when I was like 13. I was obsessed with My Chemical Romance, and every single album of theirs is like super duper super concept albums. Like everything
Yeah.
is so intertwined. And I remember the feeling of sitting there, and I had like written out all the lyrics to like their album so I could like look through everything. And I was like looking through pictures, and I was like connecting things, and I'm like, wait, like the feeling you get when you like piece something together and you're like, wait, but this shows up over here too. I just love that feeling because that made music seem like there was even more dimensions to it than what I had previously known, because before that it was just a song that you listen to and you connect to and it means everything to you. But then to be able to go outside of that and to look through artwork and to look through lyrics and look through outfits and look through posts online, to be able to connect that was such an insane feeling. And I remember that since then I was like, I need to replicate this because this is such a fascinating way to express yourself. So yeah, for me it was My Chemical Romance.
Okay, were you like a sad emo kid back in the day?
back in the day.
Oh man,
That was 5 years ago.
I don't think I even had like an emo phase. I can't even call it that because I didn't even get into the other emo bands. I was just on MCR. Like I couldn't
MCR,
leave.
Okay. What about you guys?
I'm actually not sure, to be honest.
Okay,
That's okay.
That's good.
That's okay. That's maybe a
If I
new
were to
thing.
answer for you, I think probably movies. I think movies and stories.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You
yeah,
can disagree
for-
with that, but that's
No, I agree with that.
Nice.
Okay, well, if we're saying
That's
like
interesting. I didn't really think of movies, how that would be part of like a concept, because it's a whole concept itself, more so than music would be.
It's interesting because our next question was like, what non-musical influences have shaped this? And so it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's add that in there too.
Yeah.
And then we can come back to you guys to
Yeah.
add on to that. So what movies then for you?
oh, okay, wait. Just go to Aria for a second. I'm just gonna
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I-
Aria,
for a second.
what bands or other things that aren't bands have concepts that you like,
Well,
that
here's
made you want to get into concept albums?
Yeah, here's where the Bring Me the Horizon part comes in. It always finds a way. I got into them around the time they released Posthuman Survival Horror, and as it's kind of clear that the next album they released last year, Posthuman Next Gen, that's following the same storyline because half of the name is the same. And I think I'm like so inspired by their like Posthuman like arc, because not only have they made a concept album, they've made an umbrella of concept albums that all fit together.
Wow.
They have like
Jeez.
ARGs, like they've created video games. It's like they have so much lore for their
Wow.
I had no idea.
It's a whole world.
It's been a very big inspiration for like storytelling through music for sure.
That's great.
Okay,
I'm
and
so
then-
happy you have that.
And then what non-musical influence do you have in your writing?
Wait, I think that's a big question when you think about it.
Mhm.
For myself personally, for that one, I think it's hard because I think everything, if that makes sense. I'm definitely someone who like I carry everything with me, if that makes sense. Like every single thing that I see or do or hear, it just stays with me, and I'm just a collage of all those things. And
For
so
sure, for sure.
Even just like what we were saying with hypothermia, even just like colors, like certain color combinations. I'm like, what would that look like? What would that sound like? Also, again, songs, yes. I guess movies, stories, anything, even clothing, even different like visual aesthetics. They're like a big thing for me. So for myself, I don't think I can answer in like a specific like medium that like
Sure,
inspires
sure.
me. It's kind of everything.
That is the answer, though. It doesn't need to be a specific medium. Like your answer is your answer. So
And-
I love that.
And what I've noticed though is, so I started like writing music, like, okay, I'd have to write music a little bit in like my classes and stuff when I was younger. But when I actually started being like, I want to write music, I was about 12-ish. And so I remember initially I didn't even know how to take inspiration from things, and I would just write. But the more that I would write, the more every single thing from my life would seep into the music. And soon enough, it became where I am now, where it's not even taking inspiration from songs or like artists necessarily. It's kind of just taking inspiration from everything. So it's like the more I wrote, the more I like opened myself to like the greater world,
Right.
if that makes sense. And everything
Yeah.
would pour into my songs.
Yeah, it's like what happened yesterday, and then now you have a whole song, basically. You know, how did I feel? Like what incident happened that? Yeah, I get that for sure.
Mhm.
Maybe art for you, Aria.
Yeah, art
With
for
that.
sure. I think I've followed in Quinn's footsteps a lot, where like I've learned that there's so many things you can take inspiration from, for sure. Art and other mediums of like art. I just said that twice.
Oh, just like expression.
But there's like I
Yeah.
guess there's inspiration in everything, and Quinn's kind of taught me how to like see like inspiration in a lot of different aspects.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think movies for sure. We actually just watched a movie that I really liked. It's called Equilibrium. And
Okay.
it's basically
Equilibrium.
this dystopian movie. And feeling is illegal. So they've created this whole regime that enforces they kill people who feel. So they've banned
Whoa.
all forms of art. So like painting, music, and all that. And
No,
I
we're
thought
going to be
that was-
watching this afternoon.
Yeah, I just thought that was a really interesting concept. And it
Yeah.
was showing how this main character, who was like an enforcer of this government, and he kind of like turned into this person who could actually feel, and he would like rebel against the government.
It was such
That's
an interesting movie, and as we were
cool.
watching, we were literally like, "This is kind of like us, like not like us, like we are like that, but more just like what they were talking about and the way they were going about expressing it." We were like, "Wait, that kind of like we could have written this movie."
Wow.
And
It was
that's
so
but you still
fascinating.
can. Like
Yeah.
like that's cool. Like now as you say that and you saying that you get influence from that, it makes me like I can see a video of you guys and Jonah sitting there playing drums like a robot, not feeling anything. And then the breakdown comes and it's like, rah, and then you just go off, you know? Like
Mhm.
I see how things like that can influence you because it's now making my mind go. And I love that. That's so cool.
How fun. It's like a
Yeah.
never ending supply.
Equilibrium.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to check that out.
Definitely
That
watch that.
sounds
It's
It's
very
really,
good.
it's really
And they
good.
had to take these like drugs all the time, like just inject it into themselves so that they didn't feel. And even like you couldn't have like pets because they make you feel bubbly and happy. Even like this one woman, she had like a mirror, and just like the outside of the mirror was like too like vintage looking, and they didn't like it because it was expression, right? It was self-expression, the frame of her mirror. So
Wow.
they got her in trouble for
Wow.
that. So it was
That's
very
crazy.
We
fascinating.
got to get on that. Thanks for
Yeah,
the
we're gonna be
suggestion.
checking that out.
Interesting concept too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
I think we want to switch over to challenges. Let's talk about challenges.
Some challenges.
Yeah, and this one, I think you want to kind of kick off because you have some experiences having been in the band environment, but ultimately it's going to lead into a different question.
Yeah. So as I said earlier, you know, I was in a progressive death metal band back in the day in California. And so I've gone through everything there is to go through in regards to being in a band. Everything. I mean, fighting, I've done that. I've went through 5 drummers, Oh my God, I've gone through a lot, right? So I know what you guys go through, but one thing I don't know is how to navigate the challenge of being in school at the same time. Like, what the hell? How does that happen? How do you navigate that? And then being the band that you are, doing video shoots, photo shoots, coming up with lore, like
It's a lot.
that's a lot. How do you guys navigate that?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, we are still all working on it. It definitely helps when it's not finals week when we're filming a music video.
Every time.
That's happened twice actually. Wait, no, that's a lie.
No,
twice.
no. One time we had finals while we had a release show, and one time we had finals while we were filming a music video.
Mhm.
Oh, geez, fun.
But
Did you guys do well?
Yes and no. It depends on the class.
Meh.
This has got to be very difficult. And
It is.
you guys plan on going to university after high school. So
I think we heard you say that in an interview, right?
right? Yeah. So how does this work for you guys? Like, are you worried about this stuff?
I'm not worried personally. I don't know about you guys. Because like we keep getting better at this because yes, as we go on, there's more band stuff, but also we're getting better at navigating all of it. It's definitely a lot of work, but definitely making sure that you take time to yourself so you can just process everything and just like, not have to worry about working like every second of every day is absolutely very important. And also I think also for me, kind of having like less of a boundary between music and school, if that makes sense. Like for example, like when we go to writing, sometimes we'll be taking out like, oh, look at this poem that I saw in school, and like kind of like connecting them instead of being like, okay, this is when I work and this is when I do music.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely still a work in progress though. And yeah, I got accepted into university, so I'm going to be going to university soon. And it's just going to be like,
Congratulations. That's awesome.
It's going to be like definitely more of a learning process as we go on because everything's going to like keep changing, right? Like the workload for school and for music, but we're just going to keep learning. I'm just ranting about the same thing, but we're going to keep learning.
And
Yeah.
Sure.
me and Aria still have a year of high school left. But our high school, like they're very understanding of us and like kind of the balance we have to achieve being in this band. So they're actually very understanding, and you have to have 30 hours of volunteer work to graduate. Like it's a graduation requirement. And they said that we could just use like stuff that we do as a band to fill that 30 hours just because they understand, so we're really grateful for that.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
That's reflect
Definitely.
on what we did, then we can use that as our 30
Exactly.
hours.
Yeah, Aria, you're. I saw you shake your head at first, right in the beginning of the question. You were like, "No." Are you finding it a little bit more difficult, or are you okay? Like it's hard, but you're okay.
Kind of on the same page as you guys. Like it's definitely challenging, but we're finding ways as we go. It's it's getting like better. We're finding ways to cope and stuff. And it's not perfect, but we're gonna figure it out, and we will.
And ultimately, our education is very important to us, just because like we want to keep learning. And like, there's definitely artists where every single thing in their world is their art, but for us, it's not like that because ultimately we take inspiration from everything, and we just want to be like well-rounded people in general too. Like we want to be able to like stand as people without like,
For sure.
do you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
like we don't want to be like constantly missing school and not like getting just like general life experience because of our work. So we just want to like make sure we learn as much about the world as we possibly can, and we're going to do that.
And we've also got
friggin'
a
smart.
inspiration from our education, so it's been a big part of the band. So
You have so much more perspective than I did.
And
at your
like
age. I was like, where's the
smart.
party? Yeah.
And so when it comes to school, like, are you guys popular because you're in a band? Like, does everyone love you?
You gotta understand the type of kids we are at school. We're the kids who just like never talk in your class, and you like don't even know their names. You don't really know anything about them, and you kind of don't care. We're those people.
we sit at the
You
back
guys
of
are
the
awesome.
field, talk to nobody but us and two of Jonah's friends.
Yeah, we eat lunch at the back of the field, and it's not because we just like. It's a lot. Like, again, we're all very like introverted, and it's kind of just like a lot to be at school. So to just like
For sure.
And also, we don't really like the attention. Like sometimes people do find out that we're in a band, and they're like, "Oh my god, guess what, everybody!" And it's just like it's a lot because it's like it's a lot to be like put on a pedestal like that in front of everybody, because ultimately we just want to tell people like that they can do anything that they want to do, and it doesn't matter what other people like say to them. And so it's just like we want to like lift people up with us instead of like being like called out for it and being like, oh, look at what this kid did, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's kind of just a lot. So I don't know. And yeah, we just like to be by ourselves. Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome. I would think that everybody, especially being where you guys are and having music, like real deal music videos and real sounding music, I would think that people would be so stoked on you guys and want to be a part. But you know, if you're staying away and just wanting to be on your own thing, that's awesome too. You know, I totally get that. That's where we're at.
The introverts in us also appreciate that for you. Yeah. We hear over and over again about your age, but what we haven't heard so much, what you all are having to deal with as a result. What are there some of those things, or are you shielded from that?
There definitely are. I just need to like think of an answer for it.
Sorry, what was the question exactly?
Like, what are the misconceptions
about being a teenage rock band?
Yeah, do people think certain things like maybe me, like thinking that you guys have all these school fans, you know? That's one misconception right there.
I'd say that would probably be the biggest one, because I think that people think that like someone who's like in a rock band, they're like, you know, getting all the girls and you're just like on top of the universe. And it's not like that, because for us the music is more of like the art side, I guess, if that makes sense. So I think that that's definitely the biggest misconception for us, is that
it's not very glamorous.
Yeah,
100%.
There's definitely more. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. Can you think of one?
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's actually a good thing that none like majorly stick out and have
Right.
been poked at you. So if anything, that's a great
That's
answer.
definitely a good thing, you know? A lot of people aren't thinking that you guys are something that you're not,
Yeah.
you know?
Fair enough.
And when it comes to recording and writing and stuff, I know, Quinn, you said you have a lot of anxiety sometimes. And I was wondering, how do you overcome that anxiety when you're in the midst of writing and recording, like actually recording, to produce this beautiful song?
Yeah. So I think that the majority of like my anxiety with music, it just comes with like what is new to my life as of the past like few years since Freeze the Fall is just being compared constantly to other artists, because then I'm constantly like, I'm better about this now, but it was like, instead of like just writing and performing in a way that would come naturally to me, I'd do it in a way so that I was like, oh, well, I don't sound too much like that person and I don't look too much like that person. You know what I mean? And it's not as much of a thing for me anymore, because people aren't comparing us as much. We're just like Freeze the Fall now, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that for me, what I have to do is I just have to like kind of like get in my own bubble and just like, you know, listen to music that is like my music that I really love, and just like, just like dress the way that I feel good, and just be like myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's less of a thing now. But definitely it shows up sometimes. Like I'll read a comment like, oh, they sound exactly like so and so, and I'm like,
Right.
no,
La, 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 la.
we were going for. Yeah, and people are recognizing like a variety of inspirations for us now, instead of just pinning us as like, you are just this, you know?
Right.
Which is good. Which just comes with like getting to know us better, right? So I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah. It does.
Well, yeah, basically, it's just basically you putting on the kind of music you like, dressing like just trying to get back into yourself, the things you like is how you get out of that anxiety of not trying to write like somebody or being compared. So yeah, no, that totally makes sense. You got to do what you enjoy, and that snaps you out of that mood for sure.
Absolutely.
I have a fun one.
Okay.
So Quinn's going off to university. When and if Aria and Jonah are also, if you weren't rock stars and musicians, what would your alternate career be?
Oh, I love this question.
Jonah, you start.
I think I'd be an architect, ideally.
Nice. You like buildings, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Good with math and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of studying as well. So
nice.
That actually makes a lot of sense with Quinn talking about how in the writing process, things needing to have structure in place. I was thinking, I wonder if Jonah's going to be an engineer.
He's a lot more formulaic than Aria and I are, which is essential to our friendship and to our writing. He kind of like grounds us, if that makes sense.
Yeah. How about you, Aria?
I think I'd be something still in the arts, something along the lines of like a fashion designer or just an artist. I love to paint. So something still in the arts. I'm not sure what. For a long time, it was fashion designer, but now I'm kind of like, but like painting. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Plenty of time to think about it.
Yeah.
And then Quinn, do you already know what you're doing at university? Or are you going to like go with a general degree until you understand maybe what you want or go to music?
Yeah, so mine actually has a little bit of a story to it. So I love language just as much as I love music. That is like my passion. I adore languages and learning about other cultures and just like how you are in relation to everything else in the world. That's like my big thing. And so I wanted to get a degree in linguistics, which is just studying like how languages work. And there's like a scientific side to it as well as like a cultural side to it. But the university in our city doesn't offer that. And I can't leave because freeze the fall.
The band, right.
So what I'm doing is I'm going to study French. I'm going to get a degree in French because I speak French and I want to learn even more about it. So I'm going to get that degree. And then maybe if I still have the energy to study, then I'll move on to a different school and get a degree in linguistics. But yeah, so anything languages. Yeah.
That's
Fun.
awesome.
That's
I love
great. Good
that.
answers.
That's definitely great.
No.
So with VHS, right? That was such a sick video. And that was our introduction.
No.
Oh, no, that
Second.
wasn't. That was a second
Second
song. And we were blown away. That's right. But one of the things we said was how amazing you guys acted in that. In all of your videos,
You would think
when you
you
guys,
three were actors.
like you guys look like actors. So is there any interest in that at all?
We were wondering as part of that, alternate career question if that was going to come up.
Yeah. Should I go for it?
I think that we'd all love to. It was very interesting. I don't think any of us ever pictured ourselves acting, but it was a very, very fun experience, and there'll definitely be more of it. It was kind of cool to be able to I'm losing my words.
No, it's okay.
It was very interesting, and we'll probably come back to it.
Yeah.
But you're not like, okay, I want to go be a box office Hollywood star
Right.
at this point. Yeah, you're like doing it for the
It was
videos is
fun.
good, but I won't study it. Yeah.
It's using it as another way to express what we're trying to communicate with our art in the same way that the lore is. It's just like expressing yourself in more ways than just sonically,
Yeah.
So
You guys are really good at it.
Do a
Not
great
everybody's so comfortable doing what you guys did. That's why we had that question, because you guys look natural at it.
Yeah. Great job.
Yeah. And I guess if you guys like movies so much, it kind of ties in with the fact that, of course, if you're acting in a horror movie, you're going to do it right, I would think. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and Evan, the director, he's our friend, and he definitely he helped us feel comfortable and to get in the right zone to do that. Because especially I'd say it was pretty extreme to have VHS as the first time you act, because for context, what it was like is like for me, for example, basically I walk into that kill shack, which is just like a garage, and it's just me and these guys are outside, and there's just like a film crew. You've got all these cameras, and you lay on the table. It's like, good, now start screaming. And you just have to you're dying. And it's such an extreme first experience. But Evan, he was very good at he would talk us through it and explain okay, so this happened and this happened. And the whole time that he'd be talking to you, even if it wasn't actually while you were being filmed, he'd talk to you as if he was still in that character trying to get you to do something. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
Evan was definitely a really good teacher for us.
Yeah.
He and Teddy
That's
seem like
awesome.
great coaches to do that type of thing.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
Yeah.
So when it comes to touring, right? Getting out on the road and touring, Aria, do you think Sir Gryffindor Elven Arctic would be happy with you?
Important question.
My cat.
Come on. Yeah, let's see.
I have to believe he's orange, right? As part of our learning about you guys, we know your cat's name, and we know that you like orange cats, right? So is he an orange cat? Yeah,
he's a white cat, gray kind of.
A white cat. Okay.
Um,
But you like orange cats, or did I make that
no,
up?
that's correct. I love
Okay.
orange cats.
Sir Gryffindor.
I think I would take him with me because I have attachment issues with him. I carry him around. He doesn't need legs.
Aw.
All the time. So
He doesn't need legs.
if he was a ball of cat, he'd still be able to move the same.
A ball of cat.
You guys are good with having a ball of cat on the tour bus?
Absolutely.
We love it.
I give him a new name every week, and this week it was Squeezy. So
Aww.
That's awesome. We're huge animal people
Yeah.
too, so anytime we can talk animals.
Aww. So do you say his full name every time you say his name, or do we nickname it up to save on some words? What is it?
Just Squeezy.
Squeezy.
Squeezy. Squeezy.
Look at Squeezy's face. What a handsome fella.
He's like, okay, I'm a
done.
cat. Would you please leave me the hell alone?
Look at how cute the ears.
And we all have pets, but I mean, coming back to them would just make it even more special to see them again. So,
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
100%.
That's awesome. Aww.
Adorable. So if you had to collab with any artist out there, who would it be?
for me, okay, I think we all have like a little bit different answers. I think for me,
Yeah, no
what
doubt.
comes to my mind is Ice Peak. They're like a Russian duo. They're
Oh yeah.
so cool.
Ice
So
Peak,
cool.
you know that, right?
Yeah.
You
We
know
like
Ice
Kim
Peak?
Dracula. Kim
Yeah.
Dracula did a song
A
with
collab,
Ice Peak.
Yeah.
Hey, also Kim Dracula would be an
Yeah.
insane
Wow,
collab.
that
I
would be-
admire Kim Dracula so much. They just do their thing. They just
Their
like
energy live is amazing
We're
too.
gonna see them in like 2
Yeah,
weeks,
we-
I
we
think.
saw them
out here.
once.
Oh my
but-
Yeah, we
God.
saw them
we
once
saw them
already.
once in Baltimore or
Okay,
something somewhere.
Make Me
Yeah.
Famous literally changed my perception of music and the music video
Wow.
and everything. That was insane.
Insane. That was one of my very first reactions on the channel 2 years ago.
Killdozer
And I was like, I didn't know what to think. I was instantly in love. Like,
Yeah.
Kim is ridiculous. So I love to hear that.
Yes.
That's cool.
I mean,
that's a concept album too, no? Or each song just has some interesting
Yeah,
meaning.
I think
Yeah.
I think it's a concept album. I'm pretty
Right?
I
sure.
think so.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Anyways, memory failing. How about you guys? Aria, Jonah?
I think like this is kind of far fetched, but Gojira would be like,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
You're going to take over for Mario, huh?
Help
mean,
them win
we-
that second Grammy.
yeah, right. Oh man, that would be awesome.
Wow, Gojira. I love those dudes.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
How about you, Aria?
Well, I think it has to be Bring Me. They've just been like the biggest inspiration for me. So I think I'd rather nobody else but them. You know, even
That's-
just
that's
like
your
Ollie
band.
himself, he's an amazing songwriter. So even
Who
just
is it?
Ollie,
Ollie?
the singer.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ollie.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, even just him would be like crazy.
Yeah.
He's got great energy.
Yeah, he's such a nice dude,
Yeah.
too. Love that guy. He's
Yeah.
a great guy.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Now, can we talk about fans? Switch over to fan
Yeah,
interaction.
Switch over to your fans.
Yeah,
The cold front.
The cold front. Are there any particular memories that you have with any of your fans that really have left an impact on you somehow? Like, it may not all be the same. You each may have different ones, but memorable fan
Okay.
interactions. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh, okay. But if there was anything like pivotal that was like, wow, remember this one time this guy gave me his grandma's sweatshirt or, you know, something like that, you know?
For sure.
So I think Thomas Ilgen is a big one for sure, and his daughter
Oh.
Gwyneth for as well. So he gave Aria and Quinn guitars. That was insane. Gave me a snare drum, and he came out to see us as well. And it was such an amazing experience. We played
Wow.
a song with him, like we were practicing with him. That was so much fun. Yeah.
Were you just
he's
like,
amazing.
we've made it. We've made it now.
Yeah. It was so cool.
Yeah, and he came from what was he out of Philly?
Philly, yeah.
Philly,
Yeah.
From Philly to BC. That's like here
Yeah.
to here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a 6-hour
It was
flight at
so
least.
cool.
At
Yeah.
least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So, did he
More
bring a dingwall for you, Aria?
Yes, he did.
Oh,
He's like-
and what are you playing? Are you playing Sheck? No, you're not. Quinn.
Oh,
Aria.
Gibson?
Quinn.
Quinn. Which one are you playing, Quinn?
Oh, Thomas gave me like a Strat.
A Strat. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your main guitar, Fender, or
No, my main guitar is like an ESP LTD. That's like
ESP?
my
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it was.
one,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I also play a Jackson. So those are like my
Okay.
go-tos. But I love the Strat that he gifted me. It was very generous.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Now, do your fans or patrons or anybody play a role in your creative process, like writing songs at all? Like, do they have any influence on anything?
I don't think so, but we always love to hear, like, when we release a song and they talk about their interpretation of the song and what the song means to them, that always kind of blows our mind because sometimes it's like different than how we thought people would receive it, but in the best way. And that's ultimately what we love. Like, we don't need anybody to take away the same thing as like what we intended for in that song. So we really love hearing people's like perspectives and opinions on it. But I
Good.
would say that it influences the way that we write music, if that makes sense. But
Mhm.
we love hearing what they have to say about the music for sure.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
And I think one more thing about our fans is our Patreons and everything they do for us too. I think that's been a huge part of our journey with our fans, and we love them a lot.
Yeah, it's also
Hell yeah.
Well, they
love
love
that.
you. That's for sure.
it's a really great place for us to connect with them and to like meet them. So
Yes.
it's a really
absolutely.
cool place for sure.
Yeah, even we did a live stream earlier, like a month ago, and we were trying to figure out Riot by 3 Days Grace as a cover that we're gonna do. And I don't know, it was just so much fun, and it was so chill. So yeah,
that's awesome.
They helped us name Jonah's capybara stuffy.
Oh
Yes.
Oh, you got a capybara.
Yeah,
What is it?
yeah.
We always say that Jonah's a capybara. That's your lore from us. He is a
Why?
capybara. We all have
Why capybara
socks in honor of him.
That's
He's just
awesome.
a capybara.
That's just how
What
it
was
is.
the name of the your capybara?
Boba.
Boba, like Boba Fett.
Boba or Boba Tea.
Or Boba Tea, okay.
Oh, look at
Squeezy, little Squeezy. So the next question is looping back to the beginning when we were talking about Ninja here playing the bass.
It's totally selfish question. Aria, I just wanted to say great job on all of your socials playing these bass playthroughs. Like we watch those, and I'm just learning the bass. I've only played one song, Sharks.
The Sharks.
We did a cover of that, and so I need tips on how to play bass with small hands. Not on this, but I'll be reaching back out to have you kind of infuse me with some of your tips on how to be
She's got tiny hands.
bass player with little hands. And I could.
Oh, I love that.
What's that?
Yeah, it's amazing that you're playing bass. That's awesome.
I am. I play guitar. I took guitar lessons, so I know how to. I had some basics, but it's like starting from scratch. And the hell, if I try to, I don't know music theory either, so I'm playing tabs. And reaching from like, say, the 2 to the 5 is extremely difficult.
It's big.
But it's no excuse because I go on and I see these little kids rocking it. And I'm like, yeah, you can't use any of that as an excuse. I just need better technique. So more to follow. Thanks in advance.
I'd say
I'll be watching more.
Also make sure you do lots of warm-ups with your hands beforehand. Like I've had like hand problems and stuff from guitars.
Oh.
Definitely make sure you do lots of warm-ups.
Do you ever use
Good
one of those
tip.
little spring-loaded things where you can each finger like squeeze down? It's like a
haven't
workout
used
thing.
one of those. No, I'll have to though.
No, I was using that when I was playing a long time.
Okay.
But maybe that would help. But you got to stretch that first finger and that pinky to get all the way down. You know how it is with the pinky. If you don't use that pinky, it's weak.
Yeah, and just like anything else, like just like any other part of your body, like your hands will get more flexible and stronger as well. So also, I don't know if you know these. They're like these little like. I don't know what they're even used for. Just like a little like ring, like an exercise like ring type of thing. The ones you can like squeeze.
Oh, yeah. I've seen those.
If you like do exercises, like squish them if that makes sense. Or like any type of thing where there's resistance to it, that will make your hands stronger.
Thank
so
you.
that also helps for sure.
Well, there
Thank
you
you.
go. See,
Lessons.
now you're gonna have to
Lessons
be.
from Freeze the Fall.
You're
Thank
gonna
you.
have to cover Aurora here now.
Listen, I heard
I mean, I know
now.
one song. I can't get to level Aria after one song. No way. Anyways, thank you for the tips on that. I didn't want to hijack the interview, but I did want to have a little selfish moment. So thank you for the tips.
And real quick, this is kind of like a little out of left field type question, but
Ooh.
why do you call Jordan and Dougie the Minkies?
Oh, that takes us back.
Yeah, that's like
Wow.
that's like way far back.
We still call them that. It was just like the origins was a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't really remember where I originally.
It was on the inside of your CD
originally
jacket.
we were the Minkies.
We were, and then Jordan was like,
And then-
wait, but what about me?
And then so we call him Big Minky, and we're not the Minkies anymore. But also we call Jonah Pinky, and I think that came from mispronouncing Minky. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just like it's been a thing for
It's
so
just
long that
we just don't question
I don't
it.
know the
Yeah.
origins. You just
And
like
it evolves into different names, and then you lose what it even started as.
Okay.
We like trying to dig deep
Yeah.
and find some funny
you
things.
kind of just gotta bow down to it. Like I don't know where it's
Yeah,
from.
it's
I
just-
just
All
know
right.
it
How it
exists.
is.
Yeah.
Just
I
how
have
it is.
like 5 stuffies, and they're like these weird, like elongated cats. And I named them the Minkies, even though they're cats. And there's like one for each of us. But they're cats, so
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. But it's,
Okay.
it's fine.
The Minkies.
All right.
All right.
All right. So if you all had to describe about each other what the other's best quality is, what would that be? So we'll start with Jonah. What would you say Aria's best quality is?
This is so on the spot.
Yeah.
Let's
we
start
gotta-
with
that's so
Jonah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to keep you on your toes.
Or is
'cause-
anybody else ready with what they want to say about somebody
Yeah.
else? If you need to think a second,
I know
Jonah.
one for him.
Okay.
Okay,
Jonah-
go ahead, Quinn. Let Jonah think.
He's so good at coming up with like he's so determined to just like better himself and his life and like bring up the people around him, if that makes sense.
That's
he's always
great.
like setting goals and like exposing himself to new things and like always ready to learn and very open-minded, always like ready to try stuff and definitely
That's
making sure
awesome.
that everyone around him also feels that way. So if that makes sense.
That's
Yeah,
really
that makes
great.
perfect sense.
Great
Okay, wait.
compliment.
I have it.
Okay.
So I think for Aria, I think her best quality is how empathetic she is and how often she puts others' needs before herself. And I really admire that because that's a really important trait in somebody. So I really admire that
That's
about her.
great.
And for Quinn, I really admire and I think her best trait is how expressive she is and how brave she is to express herself for how she truly is, which not a lot of people can do, especially with social media. And I think Quinn does that perfectly and she's not afraid.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
That's a great
I love that.
compliment,
That's a
too.
great compliment.
Yep.
All right, who's next? Which one of you guys is next?
I think one of Quinn's best traits is just how like open you are, and you're like, I can't remember a time you've ever judged somebody. You're so like just like your ears, they're just like there. You're just like you're like the number one hype man. Like you're always like, no matter what somebody's interested in, like what they're self-conscious about, you always like know how to make them feel better. You always know how to make them feel like the best person in the
Oh,
world.
yeah.
Like, it's just amazing. It's amazing to see how much you loving people, you know?
Thank
it's
you.
Just so, it's so awesome to see.
This just feels
That's
great
awesome.
today. You guys are, I mean, we loved you already. Even
Do you
before
have one
now.
for Jonah or Quinn? Do you have one for Aria? Who's next on that?
Of course.
Oh,
If you have one for Jonah, jump in. Go for it.
it's so hard. I'm trying not to be repetitive because I think a lot of our traits are very similar.
One of my favorite things about Jonah is your brain. Your brain is so cool. Like I love the conversation. I love the conversations we have. Like you have so many like ideas and like different like perspectives. You have a very interesting just like way of seeing the world. And I love hearing like how you like even just like movies. I love hearing how you think of them. You always have like very deep.
He's very analytical.
You just have a very interesting like perspective of everything. I love hearing it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is the best question.
I
I just
know.
have to
This is,
say.
that's a great question.
I
Yeah.
love how creative Aria is. I just love it. She is so expressive through her art, whether it be like, you know, painting or your clothing or your makeup or your music, and also how brave you are with that, because you've definitely been on quite the journey with expressing yourself with that. So you are so amazing with that.
Thank you.
Very creative and very brave.
I love
Great
that.
answers,
I love
guys.
hearing what you
Great
guys have to say
answers.
about each other. Like,
Yeah.
it just feels good. Like, we already knew that you guys had such a good relationship, but it's nice when you can bring out these things and tell them to each other and
Yeah.
hear it. Like, I love hearing that. So that's
Love that.
great.
Thanks for sharing that with us.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on, we
get
can do it.
Get
Bam,
it.
that's right. All right, so now moving on, we're getting close to the end here, guys.
This is your turn.
And now we want to talk about the new song Aurora that just dropped this morning. And we got to hear it, and clearly we haven't seen the video yet because this interview was done before the video was out.
Yeah.
But you know, a magical leprechaun managed to bring us the audio, so we got to hear it in time for this video. And the song is dope.
Oh my
love
gosh.
it. I love how it starts out with the drums. It's killer.
Mhm.
And I was wondering,
Yeah.
who makes like the creative decisions, or how many of you make the creative decisions? Like in the verses, I love how you broke up like one line on the right speaker, then the next line on the left speaker, and you did that a couple times.
Yeah.
And then in the second verse, you started with that. Like you kind of A beat it, and then you went B A on the second time it came around, I think. But I love that kind of stuff. And like the little glitches that happen. Do you guys come up with those ideas, or is that Jordan or a mixture of all of you guys?
Yeah, so if we're talking specifically about that type of thing with like panning and all of that, that's Jordan. But we will give him feedback on all sorts of things like that, right? So he'll be like, oh, what if we did something like this? Like, are you guys cool with that? And we'll be like, yes. So we'll be like, no, or maybe can we change it to be more like that? So if we're talking about like that type of like specific, like how it was produced and the mix and everything, then that's Jordan with feedback from us. But
Yeah.
yes,
Sounds awesome. I love it. And same like with like the little glitches, like you don't hear that and say, Jordan, I want to have some like little glitches here. Like he's like, dude, this would be sick if this was right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
maybe you guys will start bringing that to him when you guys start to hear it like that.
absolutely. And like we haven't really needed to say a lot in that regard because he's the only like producer we've ever had and we've ever worked with in that regard, which obviously we would love to work with other people in the future, but for right now he's the only one we've ever worked with. And so he helped us basically create our sound, so he knows what our sound is, if that makes sense. So we don't have to be like, okay, so usually like over here we have something like this and something like this over here. He is so like familiar with the ins and outs of our sound and our music and who we are as people and what we're looking for. So we have
almost like a fourth member kind of, right?
Basically, yeah. But in the future, when we work with other people and other producers, we're definitely going to need to communicate that with them, which will be a whole other journey, a whole other learning process. So.
We absolutely loved the strings on that song. Like
parts.
hearing the violin come in. Which one of you guys played the violin on that?
Strings were awesome.
You can't play the violin. It'd be so cool.
It'd be amazing. But...
Yeah. So on this EP, any of the violin that you'll hear is by a woman named Aimar. Yeah, Aimir. There we go. Aimir. Sorry, I had to write it down so I don't forget any of the names. But yeah, Aimir is has done all the violin on this EP, and she is also the one who wrote most of the violin parts. Sometimes Jordan would be like, oh, I have like an idea for this. But for the most part, we gave her creative freedom to just be like, honestly, go for it. Just write. It's your instrument, write what you need to write. And then there's also violin actually on Thrones, especially like on Masquerade, for example, and Grief. And so that was played by a woman named Amanda.
I noticed that like the guitar riffs they're picked a lot faster. You know, some of those parts are picked a lot faster. How is that to play and sing at the same time, transitioning?
Yeah.
You know,
this song has been quite the journey to sing and play at the same time. It's a lot.
It seems like it would be.
But I'm definitely getting better at it. Definitely getting there. Yeah, it's a very fun part to play. I love the guitar part. It's like not extremely difficult to play by itself, but when you add the vocals on top of it and trying to make sure you do a quality job of expressing both these parts in the songs, it's a bit tricky. But yeah, getting better every time.
Yeah, and you know, to go along with that too, Aria, you're doing the background vocals, which sound absolutely beautiful. And we knew from previous interviews that you're still working on trying to be able to play and sing at the same time.
Yeah.
It is so hard. I know I can't do it. Like it's so hard to do. Do you plan on trying to do that in the future? Like maybe playing this live in the future and singing live?
For sure, I've definitely been working on it a lot, and I am doing it more now in our shows. I am working on Aurora's. The bass line's also it's a tricky one for Aurora, but I'm on the backing vocals as well for Aurora. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. Like with each show, I do more backing vocals just because I'm having more time to work on it.
Good.
Yeah, I definitely do plan on doing more and more as I continue to learn that skill.
I think the place we learn the most, at least Aria and I know for sure, the place we learn the most is when we're just trying to learn to play our songs after studio.
It's crazy.
It's a lot of work.
They're trickier. They're definitely more technical instrument wise.
So when you play live, are you going to have the backing track still playing, but also your mic live? So that way, if you don't sing, they're still there until you're fully comfortable taking that out? Or will you guys ever... Do you think you'll ever take them out?
Most of the backing vocals and the backing tracks are Quinn's. Some of mine are there, but we're slowly taking them out as I like learn more of them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Jonah, are you going to be doing Quinn's backing vocals then?
No.
I
wouldn't be able to sing half the notes that she does.
You can't get that high?
Yeah, I feel like that's actually, now that I think about it, I feel like that's something that people maybe don't even know, is that like in the studio versions of our songs, sometimes it's just me doing the backing vocals in some parts, sometimes it's just Aria, sometimes it's both of us. Usually how we work on it in the studio is since I'm already tracking lead vocals, usually once I'm done tracking lead vocals, I also track all the backing vocals, and then Aria comes in when I'm done all my vocals, and she will maybe sing some of the parts and then remove some of mine, or maybe they'll double up on them, or mine kind of act as just like a test run, just to see okay, do we want this harmony here, and then Aria can kind of follow them, I guess.
That's great. That's great.
So yeah.
Jordan and I have learned that I also am really bad at like doing like not having like a guideline. Like it's very helpful when there's already like if Quinn's already sung a part, then it's helpful for me to do it. But I struggle with timing a lot. That's like where I kind of need to work.
You've gotten a lot better though.
For
All
sure.
of us have.
It's just like I'm continuing to work on that. But right now it's very helpful when I already have something to listen to.
So she can follow mine if I record all of the backing vocals first, and then she can follow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Basically like a scratch track, like a guitar scratch track that you would play to. Right, for sure. That's
Exactly.
perfect.
Thank you.
What was the breakdown of the writing of this song? Like, who started this song? Who brought the first riff and said, "This is the next song"?
Oh,
I remember.
okay. Thank
This
you.
one was really different because
this was the pirate one.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't remember what month this was in, but they were the Northern Lights. And I remember Jonah's mom, Krista, she came up to us one day during practice and she was like,
Oh my! Of course. Okay.
And she was like, I know nobody ever interferes with your process, but you got to hear me out. I was just sitting and I was having this whole moment watching the Northern Lights. And I wrote some poetry about it. And I was wondering if you guys wanted to see it.
How can I forget that? Okay,
I know.
okay.
And we were like, oh, okay. We're like, show us. And so she sat down with us on the floor and she was explaining what she was feeling while she was watching these. And she's like, this is what I wrote. And we're like, oh my God. And she's like, so like, there's no pressure, but if you guys wanted to like use this and make it into a song, you're more than welcome to. And we're like, "Hey."
Wow.
And so she's like, yeah, this could be Aurora. And we're like, yeah,
Wow.
this could be Aurora.
We're like, that's such a cool song name.
Yeah,
That's
and so
awesome.
We took the general ideas that she had and we just like changed the wording of everything, and like the meaning of the song changed slightly over time as well. But it started, that's so funny, I forgot about that. Like literally Jonah's mom started this song.
Yeah.
Which was different.
I love
because
that.
no one ever, like, we are the three who like write the songs and start the songs and everything. So
Right.
to have her come up to us and be like, I have this cool idea and I don't know how to express it, but maybe if you guys did.
And I also remember that she had this idea of this waltz, and we really liked that. So the lyric, waltz across the sky, in like the second part of the chorus, the end of the song too.
Yeah.
That we like put that in the song, and we thought that sounded really cool.
And I also remember the song originally had more of like a waltz feel to it.
Was mine 3/4?
Yeah, I think it was originally 3/4. So you had like the 1, 2, 3, 1,
Yep.
2, 3, right?
Yeah.
And so that obviously changed. The song changed sonically quite a bit when we went.
Yeah, it changed
Yeah,
so
that
much.
one
That
changed
was
the
the song
most.
that changed the most
It
from
took
our
an
new EP.
entire like maybe
Wow.
16 hours of playing for.
Yeah.
Which was
Wow.
It was crazy.
insane.
We ripped through some like hypo was maybe 30 minutes,
Yeah,
and then this one was
it was like 2 days of pre-pro.
Yeah.
Wow.
mental.
So that song has been through a lot of changes for sure, but we're very
It must
happy with
feel
where it is
good.
now.
It must be good to have it out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my
It's
gosh.
sick.
And this song is definitely, we kind of talked about this. We're like, this song is a bit more of like a weird song. You know, this is definitely a song that like people who love music, like love music and love to just listen and like unbox everything, unpack what there is to offer. We're like, this is going to be their song because it's definitely a busy song. There's a lot going on, but we never felt like there was too much. We felt like everything was very like strategically placed and everything's where it needs to be. So this is like the music lovers song type of thing.
It's perfect.
It was great.
And how you just explained it is how I felt. Like I listen very critically as a musician and engineer. So when I hear the panning and the glitches and the ambience and the violins, and as a guitar player, when I hear the fast riffs, I'm like, all of this is right up my alley. I was instantly a fan, starting out with the drums right at the beginning with the ping of the snare drum too. Like you hear the reverb bringing out. It was dope. So I'm really stoked on that.
Thank you. And we
Congratulations.
also, another thing was we wanted to make it sound like the Northern Lights as well.
Oh yeah.
Because we, in the chorus, like in the second part of the chorus, like the one that's present in the second chorus and the last chorus is like the jicka jicka da-na.
Yeah.
That part, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I
The
do.
vocals there, they kind of overlap with each other and it sounds very ethereal, and we wanted it to sound that way. It was like driving, but also very ethereal, because that's ultimately how we see the Northern Lights. So kind of like how we were talking about hypothermia, we're like, what does the snow sound like? We're like, well, what does the Northern Lights sound like?
Right.
So
So cool. So cool.
I know, to associate
Man.
feeling and sounds
Right?
to a thing. Yeah.
It's so different
deep.
from anything that I've done when writing music. So
It's great to learn.
It's really cool to
Yeah.
hear, you know?
Thank you. And I think a big part of it is like, I don't know about you, but I know Aria and I are very visual learners. Like everything to us is very visual. So when we write, that's kind of how it ends up being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what does this picture sound like?
Amazing. Imprisoned within the red garden.
Yeah.
Okay, so what the hell does that mean? Or is that another thing for all the cold front to figure out what the lore is?
You're gonna
or is this
know,
something you can
and when you know, you're gonna be like, "Oh my god!"
Okay.
Okay.
All right, great. So we'll hear about this the rest
Then
of our
we'll-
lives on this
that's-
video.
that's
I understand.
The
Thank you.
red garden.
Yeah, literally, as soon as you
Okay.
said that, all of us were like, "Oh."
Oh crap!
I can't wait to find out.
I know.
about
Don't
that.
say a single word.
Yeah, we will know.
All right. We're heading into the last part of the video. We want to be able to have you guys talk about anything that you want to, but in the spirit of brevity, because we've watched all of your past videos, I'm going to tell you what we know about your future plans and then have you fill in the gaps, okay?
Okay.
So we know that the EP is done. You're just doing the packaging and other things that need to happen before it's released. As of today, 3 of the songs are released, and there's 5 total, including 1 bonus, or I don't know how to call it, but 1 different track, or 6 total songs, I should say.
Yeah.
And
7?
then
Oh, 6 and then an intro.
6 and an intro.
6 and then an, okay.
Seven.
Okay, so
Yeah.
7. And remind us, and if we're not supposed to know, that's fine too, but is there a known release date or range, like it's going to be out in summer or going to be out in this, or is that not something that's known yet?
Yeah, it'll be out mid-June.
We won't give you the specific date, but mid-June.
But mid-June.
Yeah, mid-June.
Mid-June. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, so we know that you're also writing a full-length album in the process of doing that, as if you guys weren't busy enough. Now, how many total songs will be on that? Do you do you know yet, or are you still in the early stages?
Yeah, we haven't decided yet, but probably around like 12, 13. Or
Yeah, like that. The average
Yeah,
amount.
just like a
Typical.
normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how's that writing process going? Like jumping in with Jordan is going to be fun part of that process, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is it
I
going
think It'll
good?
definitely boost our speed of writing right now.
Yeah.
It'll definitely boost it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's still
sometimes
not-
it helps having some other ideas come in, things that you didn't think about, and maybe Jordan comes up with a riff and you're like, oh my God, this would go good with something else. And then it
For sure.
keeps you flowing, you know?
Yeah, and
So
something wonderful about working with Jordan that he has reiterated to us again for this when we're going to be going in to see him in a few days is Jordan has never touched the lyrics.
Never.
He's never. Sometimes we'll literally release a song and like after we've released it, he's like, "What's the song
Like
about?"
glitch.
Like, yeah, he does not touch the lyrics. He's like, "The lyrics are yours."
Yeah.
And so that's a nice thing about when we're going to go write with him is he's like, I don't care about the lyrics. Like that's your domain. It's not mine. We're just going to write the instruments. So, which is something we really appreciate because of
Yeah.
course the lyrics are like a huge part of the music for us.
Especially
Right.
with albums.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
concepts. It's
100%.
yeah, because we want to keep going with like concepts and just like we want to be a lore band now. It's not just going to be this EP. It's kind of just like us now, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a test run.
It just
For sure.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So with this album coming in mid-June, are you guys, I'm sure you guys are going to have like a release party around that date sometime, right? Probably in Canada, I'm thinking.
Yes.
So all those dates will come out shortly, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just like
I
working
mean,
on it right now.
Just so you know, we're planning our personal calendars, so that's why we're asking.
Hey, we travel at the drop of a dime.
We'll
like,
travel for
all the
shows.
time. So
Yeah, we're just working out the details right now about it, but we'll let everybody know once
Yeah.
we know.
For sure.
hell yeah.
Now, one of our patrons, but our collective fans, asked us to ask you guys.
Chaz, shout out to Chaz.
Love you, Chaz. Asked us to ask you guys what, if any, touring plans are on the horizon for this year. Is it too soon to say?
Like festivals, anything like that?
Shows coming to Phoenix, that type of thing.
Yeah, there's nothing definite right now. We're just like working out all the details because of course there's so much that goes into playing any show, let alone touring.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
we definitely want to be touring as soon as possible, and we will let everybody know. It'll be very obvious. You'll know.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Right. Is there any country that you guys are dying to play first? Like, what is the first country you want to go to outside of Canada and play?
Well, I mean, realistically, it would
It'll
be
be
the
the
States.
States.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean that. Where do you
Where would
want
we
to
want to
go?
play?
Where, like, your dream place to go play?
You wanna say?
States are easy because we're neighbors.
I'd love to play in the UK, like specifically like the O2 Arena. That's been my dream.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Manifesting it here.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd love to, I don't know, anywhere in Europe would be really cool. Just seeing that kind of like whole other side of the world, you know? That would
Yeah.
be really cool. And like reaching out to that whole other audience. That would be cool.
for sure.
Yeah, for me, Norway or any of the Scandinavian countries. That's my biggest dream.
Yeah, plus because you speak a little bit of Norwegian or you're studying it, right? So you want to go flex those skills out there.
No, I want to be exposed to the culture. I want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it looks like a beautiful place. Those are great places. I mean, of course, you guys are going to play the States. It's easy for y'all to come right down here and play. But I hope.
Well,
But we
easiest, I guess, of all the countries.
Easiest, yeah.
right.
And
You don't have to fly anywhere.
I've never been to the United States, so I'm excited to go there.
Well, you have friends in Phoenix. So
You'll be very welcome here.
Yes,
Trust me.
we have a lot of fans in the States, and I'd love for them to show us where they're from and what it's like there. Because the States is very similar to Canada, but also very different. So
Yeah, for sure. Well, we can't wait to see you. And we might have to come up to Canada in June for this release party. We might have to figure this out. But
lots of Canadian friends.
as we close out this interview, usually when we do other interviews, we like to do this thing called a lightning round. We don't need any kind of like complicated, long drawn out answers, just whatever comes to your brain first, right?
Okay.
And the first few questions are individual, and then the last ones we'd like an answer from each of you guys. Okay. So
Get ready, guys. Get ready.
all right, Jonah's first, right?
You're cooked, buddy. You're cooked.
Eloy Casagrande or Ellis Tapario Siberiano?
Eloy.
Okay, Eloy Casagrande or Joey Jordison?
Good question.
Just Joey.
Joey? Okay, you went with the OG. I'm not hating on that.
All right, Aria, Greek food or chocolate?
Which one do you have to throw away? You have to get rid of one of them.
One of them goes away forever. Greek food or chocolate?
I'd have to get rid of chocolate.
And keep Greek food?
What?
Oh my gosh, love that.
You don't understand. It's her religion. It's her religion.
We read.
I love Greek food, but chocolate?
But okay, so what's your, it's a little bit of a tangent, but an important one. What would be your go-to order for Greek food?
Okay. 7 plates of pita bread with tzatziki. And then
And that's it?
a Greek salad on the side. And then maybe 1 Greek chicken wing.
You sure? 8
One
plates?
Greek chicken wing,
Like,
just
maybe
the
just
one.
one more plate of.
Yeah, maybe
One more
I should
plate.
round it up to 10. And then like 10 is like pretty much 15.
10.
But then like, why don't I just
So basically 100.
Yeah, but like infinity.
But like 3 is like a weird number, so maybe like 1,000,000.
So
All right.
she's picking pita bread and
Pita bread,
tzatziki over
tzatziki,
chocolate.
and 1 chicken wing. Just one. Just one.
That's awesome. I love it.
All right.
All right.
Quinn.
Oh no.
If you could be any animal in the world, what would you be?
If I could be any animal,
Yeah.
something that can fly. I don't know what animal though.
Okay.
A pterodactyl or a hummingbird? You know, you could be either one of those.
Well, yeah, I guess pterodactyl, but only if like they can come with me to like this prehistoric era.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
you'll
sweet.
be like the size of 10 school buses, so I'm sure they can ride on your
A
back,
wing.
you
Yeah,
know?
On each
exactly.
wing.
I love how Quinn goes flying animal and you don't think of like a parrot or a crow. No, a pterodactyl.
A pterodactyl or a hummingbird?
I wanted to go to extremes, you know what I mean?
I love
All right,
that.
so we got the quinadactyl. All right,
right.
I'm down with it.
There you go.
There you go.
This one's either for all 3 of you, whoever wants to answer first. Tim Hortons or Starbucks?
For coffee or for food?
Yeah, that's.
Okay,
Coffee.
Jeremy, this is
Coffee.
exactly what he said. And I was like, well, you can get other things at both of them if they don't drink coffee.
Coffee, I think.
For whatever. If you just had to pick between the two if they were next to each other.
For normal coffee, I'm gonna have to betray Canada and say Starbucks. However, if we're talking like ice caps,
Wow.
Yeah.
ice caps is Timmy's all the way.
I think I prefer.
I don't even know what that is.
Timmy's? Okay, I don't know what an ice cap is either.
I don't
yeah.
either. You guys,
Hey,
can you school
listen,
us?
you're coming to BC and we're getting you 10,000 ice caps because that's like your life is gonna be changed, altered.
It's so
I'm
good.
down.
I'm going to put it on my 2025 board list.
Yeah.
Like my vision board. I'm going to get one.
What about you, Aria? Do you drink coffee or anything like that? Any of those good drinks?
I'd take probably Timmy's drinks over Starbucks. Just because
Timmy.
I have them more, I guess. But they're both good. I won't diss anyone.
Okay.
All right.
Right on.
Good for you. Keep
All
it
right.
big.
So, would you guys, all of you, would you rather turn into the Fly or go through Jigsaw's horror rooms?
Is there a specific?
Okay.
Is there a specific like saw trap that we're talking about?
Yeah.
The worst one.
Hey, they're
the
all
worst
they're
one.
all pretty
The
jacked
worst
up.
one.
And any of them, I don't know any of them.
There's like 25 movies, guys. I don't remember just one.
How
Okay.
about the reverse
What about
bear
that one
trap?
that pulls the face? Yeah, that bear trap one.
But like as the fly though, you get powers though, sort
For
of
like 24 hours.
Like
But you also get everyone wanting to kill you because
You
you're
get,
this
like,
giant
shunned by
monster.
society.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
you
you
leave
kinda
goo
like-
and you're
everywhere.
gross.
die too, and very painful.
But and then Saw, you have like a chance of surviving most of the
Yeah.
time, but you're gonna be like super traumatized.
You gotta
If
pick
you
one.
survive.
You gotta
I
pick
think
If
one.
you survive.
I might go with the saw trap because I've seen so many of them that I might be able to think of a way to escape because I like know all of them.
Yeah,
so.
I think Saw.
I can't remember if it was like the second or third movie, but there's that one where they're all in like the house. If it was that one,
Okay.
I'd pick the Saw one because then like I could at least.
Oh, where the girl
That's
put her
the
hand in that
second movie.
glass, those shards
Oh.
of glass.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
man.
All right, we get
So
it.
none of y'all want to be the fly. Okay.
All right.
You-
That's
no-
just terrible.
that was so
I only
gross.
picked the fly if I was put in that Saw trap where you had to like take out a piece of his brain. That's the only one.
Ooh.
I was like,
Oh,
because, like, I'm not
okay.
gonna make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna make it through any of the
these
saw
are-
I feel like
traps.
it takes away my
Very-
eyes also.
Oh yeah, eyes.
Like the one that like snaps the fingers and then takes the eyes. My
Ooh.
least favorite kind of horror is eye horror and
yeah.
finger horror.
The next lightning round question: would you rather play live or record in a studio?
Okay.
That's hard. Both of them are so fun.
And different, very different.
I think probably studio just because we get to do it less often, so it's like more
Yeah.
special. I think that's
Okay.
what I would choose.
I'd agree with that actually.
Me too. I think like the writing process, like in the studio too, it's very fun. But
And when you
Okay.
come up with something that you're like, whoa, this is so cool.
or when you get that one,
Yeah.
yeah.
Plus, it also makes sense if you guys are introverts that you would enjoy being amongst yourselves rather than having to be out in front of everybody
Yeah.
and be
You're right
on.
about that.
Yep.
I can feel you on that. What would you guys have for your desert island food? The only thing you could ever eat for the rest of your lives if you're stuck on a desert island.
Mm-hmm.
pita bread.
Pita bread. I was gonna have something to do with pita bread, I think, or chicken wing.
Pita bread.
Probably steak.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah,
Good.
we read you're a protein guy.
Mm.
What about you, Quinn?
I guess like sushi. But if I had to be real like basic and like not pick sushi, probably like potatoes. Because I could just like make so many things with
Yeah.
potatoes.
Oh, yeah, true.
You know?
There's so much.
It's very
like,
versatile.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really,
Plus,
really
if you're on a desert island, you can just fish and have sushi
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
exactly that's true.
if you can catch them. But
Yeah. Well, I'd have to learn. I'd have to
so
learn.
potato would be the
Yeah, like,
one
if I
thing
had
you would
to
have.
pick the most like realistic, probably like potatoes.
Okay. Okay.
Very logical answer.
We've heard all kinds of answers. Some of my favorite ones was boiled egg.
Yeah.
Or bibimbap.
Bibimbap.
So
Yeah.
we've had some crazy
Yeah,
answers.
it's a
been
great
awesome.
question.
I love it.
All right, all three of you. What superpower would you pick and why?
I'd pick shapeshifting because then I could have a bunch of different powers.
That's true.
That's true.
That's
That's
like
facts.
the
That's
OP
good. That's good.
answer.
Yeah.
Probably
That's a really
super
good one.
speed. That just goes so hard, you know.
Yeah.
The Flash.
Yeah.
Maybe like teleportation.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay.
No invisibility from anyone. That's interesting.
That's like my
great.
second choice,
That's the
I
second.
think.
Yeah.
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 There's a noodling between those two.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, last lightning round question.
If you had to sit and have coffee or dinner with any famous person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Ooh.
Just
That's
hanging out,
really
just you
hard.
and this person.
Wow. Dead or alive? Probably. Oh man, that's actually
That's
good. That's
really
a
hard.
really good question. Aria, what's your answer?
Oliver Sykes.
Olive-
Okay.
Oh, there you go. There
Shocker.
you go. Right?
Shocker.
She hanging out with Ollie for
Yeah.
sure.
It's too hard.
I don't know,
She's
some
gotta
sort
get
of
it
like
right.
activist, I think, would be cool.
An activist.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know who. Or some sort of musician. I think Chris Cornell would be very cool.
Let's go with Chris Cornell.
Chris
Yeah.
Cornell.
If
Not
that
my
were
final
yeah.
answer, but for now, I'll say Chris
Yeah.
Cornell.
For now, that worked because it's on the spot, and there's
Yeah.
so many people that mean something to you. So I
Yeah.
totally get that.
How'd you guys like the lightning round?
That was
It was
awesome.
good.
Were they fun?
Yes, that was
Yes.
fun.
Yeah, something a little different.
Yes.
We've covered a lot about what we know about your plan, but is there anything else that you would like to talk about?
Anything you want to add that we didn't touch on?
Go stream Aurora and check out the music video.
Yes, and thank you guys so much for
Thank you.
for being here and for supporting us.
Yes.
And it means the world to us. Oh, and also about the music video, this one isn't going to be a big music video in the same way that Hypothermia and VHS is, because we can't do that every single time. But what we will be releasing still has a lot to do with the theme of the song and all that. So still important.
But that's all.
Right on.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Right
Well,
on.
your Phoenix
Yeah.
family stands here ready to support you.
We are here to support you.
Bringing the cold to Arizona.
Well, you guys, we absolutely had a blast with Quinn, Aria, and Jonah.
Freeze
from
to Fall.
Freeze to Fall. This was awesome. We learned so much. All y'all out there, go buy their music, go buy their merch, go see them live, support these cats. They are awesome.
Links in the description.
Links in the
all of their
description.
info, guys.
And if you like this video, please make sure you hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button right here. It really means everything to us. And we will see you guys soon, my friends. Peace.